Trading Nut, episode 75.
As a new trader, I think it's too advanced to try to spot the reversals all the time. I think you should focus on, as a beginner, to trade with the trend and actually spot those buy opportunities. You know, a trend also has breakouts of support and resistance areas. So when you combine those two, you really get the easiest way to make money, in my opinion.
The market's going to do something. Your job is not to fight it.
The market never, ever runs away. It's always there.
That personal diary of trading will make you a much better trader than...
I could be right about the direction, but wrong about the trade.
Don't focus on the monetary side.
Trying to make too much money on a trade is what I have seen killed every trader.
Your losses offer you some of the greatest insight you can find into your mistakes.
Relax, learn the process.
Candlestick pattern trading is a freaking trap.
Don't be in a rush to become a millionaire.
Let the market tell you what the market wants to tell you.
This podcast is not financial, trading, or investing advice of any kind. What's up, traders? Welcome to another installment of the Trading Nut podcast. I'm your host, Cam Hawkins, and today we've got Philp Blom on the show. Now, Philip isn't just your typical trader out there. This guy, I can call him a kid. He's 15 years old. He's been trading since the age of 13. His backstory is going to be pretty short, but I could tell from the interview, and then we jumped on a YouTube video afterwards, that this kid has got it going on. Really knows how to trade, legit as they come. He's got this thing called the Golden Zone. You're going to see that in the little YouTube video we shot after the interview. You're going to hear his story in the interview, which is still quite unique, but also what he has learned over the years. And look, he was able to teach me stuff, okay? This guy is amazing. So, guys, this is coming up. The world's youngest profitable Forex trader is on the Trading Nut podcast. It's the first. What's more, okay, so we shot the video afterwards where he walks through a recent trade setup. So it basically validates what this guy is doing and saying. Secondly to that, we're going to do another live video session, okay? So you guys are going to get to see Philip, and we're hoping to get another trader on board as well who's been on the show before. Time zones might be a little tricky, so we're sort of going to work through that. But basically, we're going to get Philip on. He's going to walk through 5 different trades. We're going to try and get another trader on as well who's been on the show before. Going to walk through 5 trades as well. If we can't get them on at the same time, you might just have to do 2. But here's what we're going to do. You guys are going to get a chance to learn what these guys are doing. You're going to see them walk through a price chart, and it's basically free education, right? So free education from guys that are actually making money in the markets over there on Trading Nut. How do you get access to this? Simply do this. Head over to the tradingnut.com site, find Philip's interview, and sign up somewhere, okay? There will be either an email pop-up, or click the join free, or sign up on Instagram. But make sure whatever you sign up to, you're going to get access to the emails and the links that come out to register for this event. Okay, guys, so it's going to come up soon. Please head over there, tradingnut.com, as soon as you've watched this. Check out the video while you're there, Philip's video that we shot after the show as well. All right, guys, so that's coming up. Now, before we head into the interview, which I know you're going to love, there is one thing I want to leave you with. This guy's on fire in the Trading Nut chat. He's absolutely on fire. His name's Andre Joubert. He was on, I mentioned him a couple of episodes ago, potentially last episode, and he's just dropping so much value in there. It's crazy. Stuff that I've never heard of in all the interviews that I've done. So this is what he suggested somebody do when they were struggling. So he said, look, there's 2 things that he did that helped. One was to take a demo account, look for setups, do the opposite of what your setup says. So do 100 trade sample size, analyze and review. So forward testing only, no back test. So basically you've got to sit there, demo trader or live trader, 100 sample size of the opposite of your setup. Okay, so if your setup says buy, you sell. Your setup says buy, you sell. Your setup says sell, you buy. Simple as that. So crazy stuff. So that really helped him, which is very, it's odd, but hey man, it's probably worth a crack if you're really struggling. The second thing he had was something called red team trading, and I had no idea what this was. He explained it. Basically, you get a few buddies together and you trade with them. You divide into blue and red teams. The blue team search for setups and why they think it's valid. The red team must come up with all the reasons they think it won't work. If the red team can't find any reasons against the trade, it's usually a high probability trade. So good news, guys. We're doing this red team thing in the Trading Nut chat room over there on Telegram. So head over to tradingnut.com. All you need to do is put in hashtag red team. I'd say potentially use a trade setup that's on a higher time frame, so people have got a chance to have a look at it, analyze it, respond. If you're doing 5-minute trades, it's probably not going to work. But yeah, red team trading, hashtag red team trading over there at tradingnut.com and the Telegram chat room. So guys, worthwhile checking that out, especially if you're needing some help with your trade ideas and your trade plan, and you're thinking that this thing's going to work and it doesn't. All right, that's enough from me, guys. I know this is going to be one of those episodes that's going to go massive, so please tune in. Here we go, interview with Philp Blom. Do remember to head over there to after the show, catch the video, and sign up to whatever you can so you don't miss this live 5-trade, possibly 10-trade, bullet trades that we're going to do in a live very, very soon. Here we go. All right, folks, we've got Philp Blom here on the show. Now, Philip has got the title of, and I suppose it's a self-given title, youngest profitable trader in the world. Philip, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Look, you're only 15 years old. I know you're about to head off to school here in lockdown, which is obviously homeschooling for you over there in Poland. I wanted to get you on. I mean, often I get young people, and you are the youngest. I'll give you that. You're definitely the youngest. And we get them on, and people are like, "Why am I listening to a young guy?" And I've seen, enough of your stuff to realise that it's worthwhile getting you on to give a different perspective on people that are much older, who have either been in the workforce for quite a while and are still struggling or wanting to get into this game, and give them a completely different view of things, as well as teach people a thing or two as well. So, Philip, I know your story's not going to be that long about how you got into it, but I'm sure we can find out a whole bunch of stuff if we dive deep enough. Now, start us off when you first got interested in trading and your journey, which I believe is only 2 years up until you're 15.
Yeah. So at the age of 13, I started looking into stocks. Parents owned some stocks, and I asked them a bunch of questions about it, and I just started from there. But as time went by, I realized that stock trading wasn't really my thing. I found it hard to master the skill, and everything seemed so complicated. And then about 1.5 years ago, so I did that for 6 months. And then 1.5 years ago, I came about Forex trading, and that just really changed everything for me. That it seemed so much more simpler, easier to learn, and also as with the brokers, I didn't really have that money to trade stocks. Most brokers in the stock market have a minimum deposit of several $1,000s, and then Forex, you have you have brokers which you can deposit very little money, and then you have this huge leverage, so you could everything seems so much better with the Forex market.
Okay, so in terms of the money side of things and getting a deposit, I mean, your dad, did he fund you for the stock trading?
No. The first time I got funded, I did demo for a while on both stocks and Forex, and then my first account was on IC Markets, minimum deposit of 200 euros. And yeah, that was my first account with my dad's documents.
With your dad's, okay, right. So you had your dad's documents to open the account and get trading, which is fair enough. Yeah, you need to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, going back to even when you were 13 and sort of the last couple of years, I suppose. Why on earth did you get into this? I mean, I've got a 13-year-old daughter who's almost 14 next week, and I mean, she sees what I do, and we talk about it now and again, but I can't see her having much interest for another few years yet, if any. Why do you think you were different?
It really came down to my school career. I was a very bad student. It might seem like a typical success story, but I was always a very bad student, and for some passionate in the financial markets, whether it came to business or trading or anything. And so I just had this goal in my mind, like if I start young, then hopefully I'm not going to be, I'm not going to have to go through, college and stuff like that, because I just didn't feel like that was for me. So I just started off on a young age.
And so what were your friends doing, and what do your friends think about what you're doing?
Anonymous. I don't tell my friends.
Yeah. Okay.
I only have my best friend only knows what I do. Other from that, no one knows what I do.
Okay. What about your parents? Are they aware of what you're doing?
Yeah, of course. My parents know. Um, I have to pay taxes on withdrawals and everything, so I need help with that.
Fair enough too. Yeah. Okay. Cool. And so, right, let's dive back into the journey. The good thing is you'll definitely remember it. Whereas, like me, I don't know if I could tell you what was going on when I was 13. But how did that journey start? You said you didn't really enjoy stocks and you preferred Forex.
Yeah.
Can you describe why that was?
Seemed like when you look at a stock chart, I think many people agree with me. Everything just seems so random. I don't know. We have there's huge market gaps. The candlesticks don't tell you. Doesn't tell a story like this. I don't know. It just wasn't for me. But when you look at a Forex chart, you can start. As a beginner, you can just look at a chart and you can start seeing so many patterns, and which makes it just much more simple, in my opinion.
And did you need to educate yourself on these patterns, or were you just seeing patterns?
Yeah, well, the only thing I had back then was the 200 euros, which was on my trading account. So I didn't have any money to buy courses. So mostly I had to learn by myself.
And so what was the process you took to start, getting an idea for this is going to be my strategy?
Well, what I did was I watched day and night. I watched just YouTube videos, right? And then I took certain parts from all these different traders that post their videos on YouTube and education and stuff like that. And then when I built my own type of strategy, for example, I took parts of everything I learned. So, for example, I learned how to use the Fibonacci from whoever, right? And that's really what it's about, to to combine everything to make a good strategy.
Okay, and so that makes sense. So you sort of found some things that you knew about, and then just thought, okay, well, let's apply them and see if I can come up with some strategy. I mean, when you came up with something that you thought, okay, this is worthwhile trying out, how did that come about?
I didn't really ever feel something like that. It just came over time. It wasn't really. I never really had a aha moment. I was just studying so hard every day, and then suddenly I just start seeing all these things that I've learned on the internet on my actual charts. So everything started making sense, and it just came like that. No real aha moment for me, to be quite honest.
And was what sort of stuff were you documenting down to, I suppose, remember what it was you were going to put in play?
I had a trading journal where I put down everything useful. I put down, of course, I journaled all my trades, lot size, exit, entry, pips, P&L, stuff like that. And then I had a couple of pages with my rule book, and then yeah. So my trading style is not very complicated, so there's not a lot to remember, really. So I just had it in my head.
Okay, so all right, so you just literally had it in your head. Okay, cool. And so how did that pan out after you had it in your head? You started off. I mean, you mentioned something about demo. How was the transition from demo to live? And and were you, at any point not making consistent gains?
I was trading demo for a while. Everything went super great. Demo without a stop loss. Trade can be an 80% drawdown, and it still goes up to profit. So it's just not realistic to trade demo unless you actually treat it realistically. Now, of course, when I had some massive gains on the demo account, I immediately thought I could go live and start earning a lot of money, which was not the case. It's a lot different as far as you're not trading like a disciplined trader when you're on demo. You don't apply a stop loss, you don't apply take profits or anything like that. So when I actually opened a live account with my 200 euros, at one point I was at 60% drawdown on the account, and then from there I had to step back and start from the beginning, really.
So you got to 80 euros in that 200 euro account.
Yeah.
What was? How did you get down that far? What happened?
Well, I was trading like I did on demo. I didn't have any rules. Putting in random lot sizes, stop loss too tight, or there's so many mistakes I made in the beginning, which got me there. So what I did was after that, I was at the point of giving up, but I took a step back for a month. I started, learning again. I started creating a risk management plan. I started perfecting my analysis. So that was an important point for me, to actually take a step back from my live account.
And how did you perfect your analysis?
Well, it takes time. You just gotta learn from, you can learn from the internet, from many YouTube videos, and then you need to spend a lot of time on the charts. I was several hours of a day. I was marking up my charts. I was reading the fundamentals on investing.com. I was learning how to combine that with the strength, the currency strength indicator, or the currency strength chart, and then that really, all those hours on the chart, that's when I started to become consistent.
Okay, and so I'm sort of thinking like, okay, you got to 80. I mean, when you started back on the live, how did that start to look different for you then?
Well, I started, I had my risk management plan. I took a step back. I figured all that out. So when I came back, I sort of believe that even back then, when I did lose a lot of money, I still knew what I was doing. In the sense that my analysis wasn't bad. It was just my recklessness which got me there. So from 80, it took me a while to come back to 200. But once I did, I started raising my lots a little bit. I would have this rule where I would only take high probability trades. They don't come by as often, but that's what grew my account. Only taking 1 or 2 trades per day, which I was 80% sure of. A lot of traders, new traders, they have the problem with over trading. I did as well, and that also got me in trouble with my account.
Yeah, I think people have sort of, they've got a certain number of trades in them a day, ironically, and when you get past that level, it becomes something takes over. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Now let's have a look at your current style of trading. I mean, what time frames are you focusing on?
I usually go from the daily down to the 1 hourly. So daily, 4 hour, 1 hour.
And how many? You said you sort of take about 2 trades a day. Is that right?
Yeah, max 3 trades per day.
And what about the average duration? Are they running across days or over weekends?
Mostly like, I hold for maybe 2 days or 1 day or sometimes even a couple of hours. It really depends on how my position is looking, how the candles are closing out and stuff like that. So it really depends.
And are you after a high win rate, or is it more sort of low win rate, higher reward?
I don't focus on win rate really. As far as how many percent of trades I win, because in my trading style, I can have 4 losses, and I usually only take high probability trades. So I can have 4 losses in a row, and then my 1 win will cover that up, which I can give you an example on my charts later. On that exact example I had yesterday. I had 4 losing trades and won it by one winning trade.
Right. Okay. And how many instruments are you looking at?
How many indicators and stuff you mean?
No, how many currency pairs are you trading?
Yeah, I have a pretty long list. I have the USD pairs, so Swiss franc, Canadian dollar, JPY. I have a couple of NZD pairs. I love the GBP pairs with the volatility, and then of course the Australian dollar also with the volatility, and then I trade gold as well.
Cool. So, being somebody who's still going to school and has to go to school legally, what's your day look like from a trading point of view?
I usually I go to a British online school, and they start their day at 9 a.m. But for me, since I'm in Poland, that's 1 hour later, so I start school at 10. Right, so I usually wake up and I have decent amount of time to go on the charts, mark up what my watch list for the day. Usually read the fundamentals, go in my Telegram to report a couple of things, and I'm done with that before school starts. So I have plenty of time, really.
And what about after school? Anything going on after school?
Yeah, I play tennis a lot. This whole sort of online school thing is built around my tennis. So I have tennis during the school day, after usually about somewhere between 3 hours per day and then 1 hour of fitness. So I play a lot of tennis.
Okay, right, cool. All right, so my normal question is in the beginning, what do you think made you different from your average mum or dad trader? I mean, other than the fact, I suppose, not being a mum or dad, or even close at the moment, what do you think made you different?
I'm very open-minded, in the sense that I copy everything I possibly can. While some traders only consider themselves as breakout traders, this and that, my trading style is that I'm trying to adapt to all market conditions. I want to be able to know how to trade when the market is consolidating, when it's ranging, when there are fundamentals involved. I really try to be as open as possible. And yeah, that's it really.
So what would you recommend for someone else who's out there, wanting to become a profitable trader? What steps should they take?
I think first of all, I always say that you need to be able to be profitable without indicators to apply them, because a lot of new traders, they try to find a secret strategy with indicators, and that's really, in my opinion, focusing on the wrong things. I think you should learn pure price action. I think a lot of new traders don't read the fundamentals or try to know what's going on in that area. Yeah, so my tips would be trade naked charts, learn how to do it that way before applying any indicators and stuff. Pay attention to the fundamentals because those will play a role later on in your trading career. And yeah, and use proper risk management.
Cool. Okay. And so, talking about fundamentals, I mean, what do you focus on when you're when you're dealing with fundamentals? Sounds like you're probably doing more than most of the guys that I interview, where they might look for a red news event and that'll be it, or they use news to their advantage. What are you looking for?
Yeah, well, a lot of the traders you've interviewed are scalpers, so they don't really pay attention to that sort of thing. But it really depends on if I'm looking to take an opportunity. So, for example, I sometimes I try to avoid big fundamental news or high impact news, or sometimes I try to use them in my advantage. So, for example, in the OPEC news we had the other day, I took huge advantage of that, and I really shorted the Canadian dollar. Because I looked out for those news.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you're using them to craft trade ideas as well as alongside your technicals.
Yeah, exactly. Combine the technicals with the fundamentals.
Okay. And what about talking about technicals? I mean, what three things would you recommend anyone focus on when they're looking at a price chart?
I would recommend looking at learn obviously support and resistance. Master those two things because they are important.
And how do you see support and resistance? Like, what do you see it like? What you would see on YouTube, or have you got a different way of looking at it?
You can, of course, I learned the basics from YouTube, but when you spend X amount of hours on the chart, you will start to notice them yourself. They're pretty clear, in my opinion, on all time frames. When price respects a certain area a couple of times, and then breaks through, and then retests back to it, and wicks off of it. I could show it better on the chart, but that would be a valid area of resistance becoming support. It's pretty easy to spot, right?
Yeah. Yep. So that was number one, support and resistance. What are two other things?
Of course, trade with the trend. As a new trader, I think it's too advanced to try to spot the reversals all the time. I think you should focus on, as a beginner, to trade with the trend and actually spot those buy opportunities. A trend also has breakouts of support and resistance areas. So when you combine those two, you really get the easiest way to make money, in my opinion.
Okay, cool. All right. So, how do you usually try and identify a trend?
Well, I mean, it depends on, you obviously see what direction the market is going just from looking at the candlesticks, right? So when I draw my trend, I include the wicks, and I don't know, in my opinion, drawing out the wicks and identifying support and resistance areas, that's not really rocket science. Should be pretty straightforward to identify them,
Okay, cool. So there's no sort of real special techniques. It's that you should be able to see them on the charts. Okay.
Yeah.
And have you got a third thing you can share with us?
Yeah. So my entries, a huge part of my trading success comes down to the Fibonacci retracement. So as I mentioned, I trade sometimes with the trend. When you trade with the trend, you obviously have your trend line. You have price testing that trend several times to become a valid trend. And if you know how to use it, well, you will start to notice that the retest back to the trend will also be at a certain Fibonacci levels where I usually have my entry, which I can show later on if you let me put on my screen.
Yep, we'll definitely do that. We'll check that up. Maybe we can do that on the YouTube. Do a clip after the show. That sounds great. Now we're going to jump into the quickfire round to just summarise some of the stuff we've talked about. And I think you've got a bit of time here, so you can expand on some of the answers if you want. So, how long did it take you to go from newbie to consistently profitable?
As I mentioned, I didn't have a course, so I think it took me about 5 months. Actually,
thinking about a trader's mindset, do you have any special techniques you can share with us?
Trader's mindset: remove all emotions and from your trading. And if you do feel emotionally attached to your trades, then that's just a sign that you're taking too big positions. You're not managing your risk properly.
What's your favorite entry setup?
Favorite entry setup at the 61.8% fib level.
What strategies do you use to exit or manage active trades?
I have some fib level take profit areas, and I have and if price shows major rejections going for reversals, then I usually exit the trade.
What's your recommended trading resource?
Can you expand on that?
Well, like something you would say, look, go over and check this out, a YouTube channel or something to that effect. Book.
Can I shout out a YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, fortunately, I didn't come across this YouTube channel in the beginning of my journey, but I really think to master support and resistance and trading with the trend, making it also simple, I think you guys should check out Nick Sean.
Oh, right. Okay, cool. Yeah, Nick's been on the show a couple of times.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your recommended... actually, I asked that one. If there was one thing you'd recommend any retail trader spend the next month mastering, what would it be, why, and how could they go about mastering it?
Try to spend as much time on the charts as possible and actually learning new things from the internet. There's so much information on YouTube and the internet, and I think when you learn a new skill, I think you should spend a lot of time on the charts trying to apply it and master it to become comfortable actually using it when you're trading live.
What's your preferred broker and trading platform?
IC Markets. They are a regulated broker, and they offer high leverage.
What's the worst trade you've ever had?
Back when I didn't have a risk management plan, when I, risked random amounts on every trade, I probably blew somewhere about 40% of my account on one trade.
If there was one thing you could leave our listeners with, what would it be? One piece of advice.
If you want trading to be if you want to be a professional trader, you need to treat this like a business, and you really need to have a plan when it comes to all sorts of things. Your entries, your risk reward ratios, your risk per trade, and just try to be as professional as possible and really apply those things that you've learned on the internet.
So without being sort of, I suppose, getting too personal here, I mean, what are your plans for, the future? You're 15, you're still going to school, you're playing tennis, your trading is profitable. What are your plans?
When I'm 18, I want to open a trading floor.
Cool. Brilliant. Okay. Sounds like a great plan and great goal. Look, we're going to jump over and shoot a little video, guys. So there should be a link in the show notes. Check them out and check out the video that we're going to shoot and go through some of these setups on a price chart. Before we wrap up, Philip, what's the best way for my listeners to get hold of you?
You can contact me through Instagram. My username is RealKing4X with the number 4.
Look, a big thank you to Philip for sharing with us today everything we've discussed here, along with all the links are in the show notes. To find them, simply search for Philip in the search box on tradingnut.com. Until next time, I wish all my listeners trading happiness and success. There you have it, folks. World's youngest profitable Forex trader on the show here. First for tradingnut.com. Now, action points after listening to this. Head over to tradingnut.com. Find his episode number 75, and please watch the video where he walks through his trading setup, including the golden zone. He's got the golden zone in there. After that, sign up on the website to get access to a live stream. We're either going to go through 10 or 5 trade setups, similar to what you've seen in the video. You're going to get to ask questions of Philip and possibly another trader as well. So guys, please, this is going to be absolute gold. Head over there, tradingnut.com. Sign up to whatever you can. If you're in the Telegram chat and you use Telegram regularly, then you're going to get notified there as well. And you can use, that red team trading thing as well. Okay, guys, thanks for listening. We'll see you on the next show.